There's a planet where the sunrise is the most dangerous part of the day. Not the predators, not the storms, the sunrise. Because on this world, the moment light touches the ground, something wakes up that has been waiting all night just for you. 98% of species dropped onto a death world die in the first 72 hours. You're about to find out which side of that number you're on. The ground beneath you looks stable, almost inviting. Then it shifts, and you realize the rock you've been standing on has been breathing this entire time. Here's the thing about death worlds. They don't kill you with one big threat. They kill you with volume. Thousands of smaller threats running in parallel all day, every day, forever. And the 72-hour mark isn't the finish line. It's just when the planet stops being polite about it. Stick around, because by the end of this, you'll understand exactly why some of the deadliest soldiers in the galaxy were never trained. They were just born, and then they survived. You didn't choose this. Nobody chooses a death world. You were born here, which means your species already lost a bet you never agreed to place. And honestly, that's the cruelest part of the whole arrangement. Somewhere out there, in the Imperium of man's own classification system, a world like this gets filed under a single bureaucratic label: death. Not a warning, not a threat, just an administrative category, like a shipping zone. Congratulations, you were born in the zone marked will probably kill you before lunch. Catachan. The jungle looks green and lush, the kind of green that suggests fruit, shade, maybe a river worth drinking from. But the vines here have a taste for blood, and they're patient about collecting. This is Catachan, one of the most infamous death worlds in the Imperium, home to the Catachan jungle fighters. Soldiers so hardened by their own planet that Imperial Guard doctrine treats Catachan childhood as basic training. Before you're even old enough to hold a weapon, you've already survived Catachan devils, bloodworms, and a rainforest canopy so dense that sunlight is basically a rumor passed down by elders. And that's one of the nicer ones. The wildlife doesn't hide from you here because it doesn't have to. A Catachan barking toad's croak can rupture eardrums at close range. The ambuls, burrowing, four-armed predators the size of a transport vehicle, tunnel beneath your feet without a sound, then erupt through the ground like the planet itself got tired of waiting for you to relax. Even the plants are combatants. Some species of jungle grass secrete a nerve toxin on contact, which means simply sitting down to rest can be a fatal decision. Somehow, none of this even ranks as the planet's worst feature. The actual statistic, and it's a real one from Catachan military doctrine, is that only 1 in 3 Catachan children reach adulthood. Not from war, from breakfast, basically from the daily act of existing on a planet actively trying to correct the mistake of your birth. And here's the thing, the ones who do survive don't come out traumatized in the way you'd expect. They come out efficient, bored almost. A Catachan veteran can identify 11 different ways to die just by glancing at a patch of undergrowth and mention none of it, because on Catachan, that's just Tuesday. Well, that's what they wanted you to believe was an exaggeration, until you meet one and realize the boredom is the scary part. Fenris. A young hunter kneels in the snow, breath fogging in front of him, tracking something he can't see yet but can already hear. This is standard practice on Fenris, homeworld of the Space Wolves. Before you're old enough to be trusted with real weapons, you're already expected to survive nights like this one alone. The cold feels almost clean at first, the kind of cold that clears your head instead of killing. Except this is Fenris, and the temperature swings on this planet are so extreme that a single day can move from Arctic blizzard to volcanic heat, depending on which of Fenris's twin suns is dominant. The locals call the deep wilderness the Et, and they don't send children into it for fun. They send them because Fenris doesn't believe in childhoods that don't include mortal danger somewhere in the itinerary. The wildlife matches the terrain's mood swings. Thunderwolves, enormous, armored predators the size of a small vehicle, hunt in packs through the snow. Survival here doubles quietly as recruitment. Then there's the psychic pressure of the place itself. Fenris sits near a warp rift so severe that its moon generates unnatural phenomena during certain lunar alignments, turning ordinary Fenrisian wildlife into something considerably worse for the length of a night. Nothing here escalates gently. Fenris doesn't do gentle. Fenris does manageable right up until it doesn't. And then it does extinction event, and there's no warning label anywhere in between the two. Chogoris. What do you call a planet where the biggest threat to your life isn't the wildlife, but your own neighbors? On Chogoris, they just call it Tuesday. The plains stretch out gold and endless, dotted with horse-riding clans who look from a distance almost peaceful. But this is Chogoris, a feral death world, and the birthplace of the White Scar Space Marine chapter. And the piece is entirely surface level. Beneath that grassland ecosystem is one of the most brutal tribal survival cultures in the entire Imperium. A planet where clan warfare, predator attacks, and simple exposure kill more people before age 15 than most death worlds manage across an entire life. The predators here evolved specifically to counter mounted humans, which tells you everything about how long this particular arms race has been running. Chogorian wildlife includes creatures built to ambush riders mid-gallop, striking from tall grass that conceals them until the exact moment too late to react. A 10-year-old on Chogoris is already expected to know which grass patches lie about being empty, and the clans themselves don't soften the planet's lesson. Interclan combat is constant, brutal, and treated as a normal part of growing up rather than an aberration worth stopping. Congratulations, you weren't just born into a hostile ecosystem. You were born into a hostile ecosystem that also actively fights itself for sport. And honestly, that's what separates Chogoris from a merely dangerous world. The danger is layered. Predators from without, warfare from within, and a climate that offers zero forgiveness for either mistake. Somehow, the ones who leave call it graduation, not escape. Nocturne. Ask anyone born on Nocturne why they walk barefoot across cooling lava as a rite of passage, and they'll look at you like you've asked why water is wet. To them, this is simply what growing up looks like. The volcanic light here almost looks beautiful, orange and constant, like a permanent sunset. Except this is Nocturne, homeworld of the Salamanders chapter, and that sunset is actually the planet's crust, which never fully cools. The Salamanders are forged, quite literally, in ritual trials where initiates walk across active volcanic terrain as a rite of passage. And the ones who make it through don't just survive the heat. They build an entire warrior culture around math. The wildlife here doesn't hide behind camouflage. It hides in plain sight, inside terrain that's already trying to kill you, so you can't tell where the planet ends and the predator begins. Salamander drakes, massive volcanic reptiles, nest inside magma flows that would incinerate anything else on contact. And here's the thing, the humans of Nocturne don't see any of this as a curse. Their entire cultural identity is built around forging themselves quite deliberately in fire. Instead, it produced some of the most disciplined, honor-bound warriors in the Imperium. Because when your childhood is literally trial by fire, ordinary danger stops registering as danger at all. The pattern across every single one of these worlds is the same, and it's not subtle once you see it laid out. A death world doesn't kill you with one big threat. It kills you with volume. Dozens of smaller threats stacked on top of each other until survival becomes a full-time occupation with no retirement. The jungle, the ice, the plains, the volcano, different textures, same math. And the strangest part isn't the danger itself. It's what the danger builds. Catachan soldiers who treat basic training as an ordinary Wednesday. Space wolves who fought worse before puberty. White scars who read terrain no academy could teach. Salamanders who call fire no. Every one of them is proof that suffering, applied consistently enough across generations, eventually gets harvested by a wider galaxy that never asked if the trade was worth making. So here's the actual question worth sitting with once the video ends. How much of what you consider a hard day is only hard because you've never had to compare it to a world that trains its wildlife specifically to hunt you? Drop your answer in the comments, and let me know which of these 4 you think would take you fastest. And we'll see you in the next one.